Welcome to Layne. Thank you so much for taking time to sit down and talk to us. We'd love to hear more about you, your Eritrean identity, and your new hit, hashtag no more. Um, but before we get started, let's just take a moment to remember our martyrs, especially our father, Abona Ramadan Muhammad Nur, and Bitsai Tesfai Gabrab, who have recently passed.
What now? Recall them, all of our martyrs, yeah. Recall them, they could have, yeah. Recall them fallen fighters, fighting for freedom, fighting for your future, yeah. Fighting for a better day, a brighter day.
All right, wait, let's go ahead. Thank you again, Layne, for being here with us. Before we get started, can you go ahead and just take some time, introduce to us who Layne Tadesse is, how he became such a dedicated and conscious Eritrean American, and the story behind discovering music being your calling?
Well, it started way back. It's like growing up, for me, it was always important to know your identity, to know your story, your history. You know, this was during the time when we were really going through so much. So I was drawn into my own identity, who I am, where I come from. Why am I in this position? Why are we in this situation? Those sort of questions are always like lingering. So that's one of the main reasons. And another thing is our country, the reason why we migrated, there's a big why behind that. So we're always asking ourselves, why are we here? You know, what's behind the whys? So that was one of the main reasons why I'm stuck in that love for who I am, for what I, you know, what I am, where I come from. And music was another escape because I've seen so much, and growing up was one of my passion around the house. We were always listening to music, like the revolutionary songs, like EPLF, and that was drawn into me because I knew what they were talking about. So music was a weapon of communicating and you know, strengthening the minds of the youth back in those days. So without music, I don't know where we would be, where I would be, and where we would stand. Music was a part of our history. So it's a very important tool. So that's one of the main, because I've done so much music, so many different types of genre. My music is like world, but I'm singing like soulful reggae, and sometimes it's R&B vibe, sometimes reggae vibe, but mainly in the reggae genre. So I've been around so many different people from all over the world, but that never stopped me from drifting off who I am. So I stayed the lane, I stayed the course. So.
That's amazing. And you kind of already went into the next thing I was going to ask you is your style of music and the genre that you do is so unique as to I've never seen like other Eritrean diaspora or even like the older, you know, the older generation kind of do what you do. So like if you had to categorize or I don't know, just depict your style to somebody that was unfamiliar with your work, how would you kind of go into it and depict it?
My style of music, it's more directed towards like situation, yeah, events. And when I deliver certain music, like the delivery of my voice, my vocals has to transcend within the sound of that music or that beat. So if it's a hip hop type of vibe beat, my vocals has to complement that beat. So it's like a gift. I was never trained to be a vocalist. You don't teach that. But I give thanks, to our Savior, the man above, for giving me that talent to be able to find those tones, those notes, to be able to complement the music that's behind me. So that's, I'm able to connect to any types of genre, basically. So
Cool.
that's how I separate, myself from a lot of other artists. I'm not just one, dimensional, one tunnel vision of style of music, and I love it.
That's awesome. And it seems like it's not common to be such a fluid type of, performer, actor, artist in general. So that's pretty amazing. Gonna go ahead and list my favorites of yours. I do love Awat Hafash. I know we talked about that a little bit.
Right.
Nisha Mama, that was really dope. How you did a brand new kind of remix style to old hit. In your new song, #NoMore, can you talk a little bit about like Awat Hafash? Like, what were your thoughts going into that? What was the creative process for that one?
Awat Hafash is more like of a personal type of music. That song was personal to me, and not just to me, but to the whole country of Eritrea, and what we went through, what we what we accomplished. We accomplished so much, but we had to go through so much. So we have to give thanks to those that are falling for us, so we can have the things that we have now. It's without them, I wouldn't be here talking to you and, reflecting on all the things that we went through. So they are the main reason why we're here. So we have to say victory to the masses. It's our own victory. It's our process that we went through. And I have to express my gratitude with music and saying victory to the masses, and dedicate it to all the fallen heroes, except, all the fallen heroes, my brother and all my uncles and everybody else that in Eritrea that have lost their loved ones. And I'm sure the majority of Eritrean families have a fallen hero. So we have to give thanks to those and always remember them, no matter what.
Yeah, 1000%. And I kind of touched on this before, but like you incorporated so many multi-dimensional when you incorporated like 3 different generations of Eritreans. I know you mentioned your daughter makes like a little appearance.
Yeah.
And it's dedicated to your brother, and you're the one writing it. So I thought that was very interesting how you encaptured all Eritreans.
That was a time when my daughter started speaking, and she speaks Tigrinya fluent.
Oh.
And she's 10. She's speaking it fluent. She started speaking it fluent at the age of 6. Wow. And she's writing and reading now. So she's kind of beating me up.
I hear you. No, that's fair. She's ahead.
So so teaching the youth, teaching the youngsters understand their their history, and so that way they will always know their story. So we gotta teach them. We gotta let them know the story.
Yep. Yes, sir. You can go ahead and talk about like Nisha Mama. Why did you choose to remix? Like, it's a very, I don't know, it's always been a very popular song. All Eritreans know the beat at least. But what drew you to remake it and give it your own new modern flair to it?
Nisha Mama, first of all, the artist, he's one of my favorites of all time.
Yep.
And we know each other personally. So when I contacted him before we went ahead into production, because it was played live with the live band, and they were Americans that played all the instrumentation live. So I got his blessings, his permission to remake the Nisha Mama song, pretty much Let's Get Along. And he gave me the blessings. He actually wrote me a nice little letter saying thank you for bringing something that's classic, just giving it a little boost and modernizing it a little from where it is, because it's beautiful how he had it, how it's done. The original is beautiful. So I thought I could just add a little bit of seasoning into it, give it a little flavor, and bring it out to the world. And he loved it. and I had to let him listen to it before I released it.
I mean, that's how it is.
Haile Gover's the man.
I believe it, and I believe it.
And it was received well. We shot the video back home in Asmara. So
yeah, the video was beautiful. I was watching it again.
The video was shot back home in Adi, so that made it. Yeah, that's the icing on the cake. That was just, I love it. So it was one of my favorite projects.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, you're like singing it in Tigrinya and in English. You're translating it. So that's pretty cool too, because I don't see that happen often or hear songs.
Yeah, we translated the hook, which was the meat of the song, Samama. Let's get along. We're only here. You know what I mean? We have to let the world know what the song is about. So it really stands out, and I like it. And I think to go back into that, I think a lot of artists need to really show appreciation to a lot of our legendary artists that are still living, that are still, just doing music, but their music is like sitting somewhere. It needs to come out. It needs to, it needs to be refreshed. Some of them, a lot of art. There's so many artists diaspora that could take the opportunity, really, make it, do some remixes, bring those guys out. They need to come out. People need to start talking about them, because that's the only way. We got to help each other out. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't have your own people, then who's gonna have your back?
Exactly.
And that's just like the Eritrean spirit. It's like, it's not about me. It's not about my wants, my desires, my ambitions, goals. It's about, my brother and sister right next to me, the ones that might not look like me or have the same religion as me, but like we share that Eritrean identity, and they are just as important as, putting each other up together, like going up, lifting each other.
Right.
I feel like that's just something that's always been in us, like sewn into our DNA, but
right.
We need to like come back to it and like reinvigorate it. I agree, 1000%.
Totally, yeah.
All right, so now on to #NoMore. Let's hear a little bit about, what inspired you to talk about what you talked about in the song, like the topics you addressed. Talk about like Western interference, just so many different things that kind of been swept under the rug, but are in our face, like yelling at us right now. Like what inspired you to talk about this, and to use music to do that?
The movement of No More, and to be honest with you, we've been dealing with No More for, I don't know, 60 years. We've been in the forefront for this type of fight, and it only makes sense for somebody to come out with an original No More song. And I was pushed the moment social media, they're always, this #NoMore. To me, it's like second nature for us Eritrean. We're always fighting. We're always telling those people, don't mess with us. We're not the one. So I'm a member of the Artists for Eritrea, AE, and we had a nice little meeting, and everyone was like, "Hey man, hurry up, we need to get this thing done." And I just nipped it in the butt and got in the studio, and the inspiration came really quick. The beat itself has that cultural vibe to it. I was listening to Michael Jackson. It's a classic song, "They Don't Care About Us." It's that beat that has that our cultural beat to it, and it gravitated. It's just literally gravitated towards me, and I'm like, okay, I need to call. I called up my producer. He goes, "Hey man, let's bring this inspiration on this Michael Jackson vibe. So I want to twist it and talk about the situation that's like right now, the #NoMore." Yeah. And we both clicked, and it came really quick, and it was done within 45 minutes. So it's
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Intense. No way.
Yeah, this is something, like I was saying, if we're talking about our struggle, for me, if anything comes, it's like, it's not going to take me long to come up with something, because we've dealt with this. Right. imperialism, neo-colonialism, all this, meddling, and we've been through so much, and it's something that you're like, hey, this is our second nature. We got to get this done quickly, and it was boom, it was done. So that's the story of the hashtag No More. So, and I want to give thanks to artists for Eritrea, and we're really trying to help out our own community, artists for Eritrea, within the diaspora in all corners of the world, like, inspire them, educate them about the music, entertainment, not just music, everything, art. So that's the movement.
And while we're talking about, we could talk more about artists for Eritrea. Like, I've definitely seen the movement, campaign on like throughout Facebook. I know kind of like towards the beginning of the pandemic, like April, May 2020, very, very active with displaying. It was really cool seeing like the Ariam sisters, seeing you yourself. I know like TT fashion, she was displaying her art and things like that. You could go ahead and talk more about Artists for Eritrea.
I mean, right now we have close to 300 members on Artists for Eritrea, and we're all active. We have Artists for Eritrea members on WhatsApp, close to 300 artists on there, communicating, helping each other out, like talking about issues, whatever, just dabbing each other. Let's motivate each other. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Any project, you want to share this, you want to post this for me. That's the only way we can, elevate. We have to elevate each other. So that's another avenue that we're, creating a platform for all of our artists all over the world. So getting everybody knows each other now. Hey, it's like, you heard of the person, but now you're like talking to them, you're exchanging phone numbers. It's a beautiful thing. And this Artist for Eritrea, I don't want to, you can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You got to be all out for Eritrea, So that's another thing I want to point out. It's Artist for Eritrea. So if you're about it, you got to be about it. Be for Eritrea. So join that.
How can people get involved, or do you guys have any more events coming up soon? Anything you want to plug for Artists for Eritrea? Now's the time.
We got kind of stagnant because of the pandemic when COVID came. So we were active, like doing the fundraising during, it's still kind of bad right now because of COVID. But in the process right now, what we're doing, we're going to generate a lot of events all across the United States, like getting everyone involved, all the artists, so they can rise up and, just penetrate this togetherness that we're trying to create. We have to make it happen no matter what. So the website it's already up. The website is already up. So they just need to go to the Facebook app, Artists for Eritrea, join that, go to the website and just become a member. It's that simple. You'll get screened, you'll get a call back, an email back saying you're an officially member of Artists for Eritrea. If there's any events in your area, you will be the artist that's going to be involved in that area because you are a member of Artists for Eritrea. So we're going to be creating many shows in the future. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. That is so exciting to see. Like, I know you mentioned a lot about, music isn't something that, you had to fight for. It just came so naturally to you because you grew up listening to so many of the greats. You talked about like the revolutionary music. You talked about Haile Gabru being one of your favorites. Could you list any other, singers, performers, actors, artists that you appreciate?
There's quite a few. Haile Gabru, of course. Zamach, another one. What's his name? Fahira is another cat that I truly love. I was actually featured on one of his songs. It's called Zakire. I was on there. We recorded.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was you.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we recorded that in Asmara at Admas studio. And that's where like really me and him connected. He invited me to come to the studio, and he didn't tell me he was gonna have me do the feature on it. He goes, "Uto, uto, uto, do something."
I believe it. I believe
He goes, do
it.
something so hyper. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?"
Yeah.
It was an honor. I was just trying to, just hang out, and meet him, and talk to him. And next thing you know, I'm on one of his classic song remixes. So it was amazing. What Toholu is another one of my favorites. Oh man, they're all legends to me. I mean, I can't mention all of them, but all the back, like the old school artists, there's nothing like them. Nothing. So I just gotta give them shout out to all of them.
Yeah. And I know earlier when we were chatting, we talked about like how this is like history. I feel like we just normalize it because we've heard it 1,000 times. Our parents lived through this, our grandparents were the ones who started this. It's not something that's foreign to us, but it's still not something a lot of us were there to experience. So music, films, documentaries, but really music encaptures the struggle, encaptures our history. And I think you're doing amazing trying to, make sure that the new generation is with it while making sure we're still keeping, the authenticity of everything alive.
Right.
And I love how you're pushing for building community amongst ourselves because we can only grow together. So that's amazing. But like we're saying, all this discussion we're having now, you're not new to this, you're true to it, Brother Layne. We are aware. You've performed at countless Eritrean festivals throughout the US, but we know you've also performed at Sawa. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that was like performing for different audiences in Eritrea?
Wow, that was amazing. That was one of the best feelings that I've ever experienced in my life. Just being amongst my people and just all of us. It was artists from all over. Pretty much Artists for Eritrea was like the little sister of how we created the artists to go to Sawa and perform. I want to give shout out to Araya from. He was one of the guys that put all the artists together, like collaborative artists from all over the world to go to Sawa in 2010. And we worked hard diligently to make it happen. And we made history. We enjoyed ourselves, and the connection that we felt, the energy, it's irreplaceable. So Sawa was one of my favorites. I know I've done a lot of shows, a lot of festivals, a lot of events, but Sawa show event in 2010, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was it was bad.
I mean, it was really cool.
Love it.
Yeah, watching the videos of you performing and then seeing Warside come on stage and dance reggae. Like, okay, that's so cool to see.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. Everyone that was on there. So like you were saying with the music is something that it's to me, music is a weapon of love, a weapon of peace, and a weapon of spreading communication, spreading awareness. So without music, I don't know where we would be. So music is everything. So especially to our revolutionary Eritrean artists, music did a lot of good for us in so many different ways. They were communicating like during the dirt. A lot of artists were communicating within their own community with the music because they don't understand the language. At some point they started catching on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just music is something else. It's to us, especially to us Eritrean, music played a pivotal role during the armed struggle. Yeah.
1,000%. So I've been told you have a brother named Aaron who plays traditional Kara.
Yep.
Have you ever performed together? Have you ever thought about it? Maybe
we've done some shows together. Yeah, we performed together. He's a great vocalist. He can sing well. He's a traditional Kara and he does a lot. He recently released a song too, a single. So he's dope. Aaron is nice. he was one of my influence too, growing up, because he was always with the guy.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. So it's just runs in your genes, the music.
I guess. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, as a musician, which way do you gravitate to lyrics or the melody, or are they inseparable to you?
The melody gravitates me to the lyrics. Some artists do it the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. Sometimes if I'm listening to the song, to the instrumentation, the instrumentation sometimes tends to like, okay, turn it off. Now you already heard the instrumentation in your head. Now you just go ahead and write, and the melody comes after I listen to the instrumentation again. So there's a different various techniques that I use. Depends on depends on the mood, what mood I'm into at the same time.
That's true.
So if it's a really nice melody instrumentation and I'm not feeling it, I just turn it off, leave it alone for a couple of days, and then I come back to it, and then something clicks. Okay, that's what it was. That's what blocking me. I get little writer blocks here and there, but. And also, I want to give shout out to oh my God, Isaias Devasai, my man.
Can you talk a little bit about Hanti Ma'antala? Where did that come from? How did you and Ilyas get that together?
We it was actually we met up in Oakland at a festival, and backstage he called me, and then we started talking. He goes, I have this idea of a song. This was during, when TPLF was like going all haywire. And when President Isaias Afwerki told him game over. And Isaias Devasai was like, yeah, I have this song that I need you to feature on. And I'm like, you don't have to ask me. Let's go. When do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we did that and knocked it out. We shot the video, and there it is. It was done. It was all bang, done. So the meaning of that song, it really touched a lot of nerves, and I love the fact that it did. And that's like I say, music is the only thing that could keep us together and keep us aware of what, who the enemy is.
Yeah.
So
songs like Hantam Antalla. Now we have like Mandalay, Kura Ertrawi, all these newer ones. But like I remember when Hantam Antalla first came out, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is different." Got Tigrinya, we got English, we got different vibes, cool. But also people politically motivated, I'm sure, like you just said, came out of nowhere, started attacking, things like that.
oh
But
yeah,
it's good that we address who's the real, who's
yeah,
there to, be a snake, but we
you
keep
weed them out.
Yep. Keep the grass cut low so you can see the snake.
Exactly.
But while you mentioned President Isaias's iconic "Game Over," I know it makes its way at the end of #NoMore. So you mentioned that strong, like drum beating, and I told you it kind of reminded me a lot of the traditional drums we hear in music from all throughout like Gashubarka. And I thought, and it continues all throughout the song, even as like your lyrics change, even as the beat changes, everything, the drum still beats the same up until that very last game over. So I thought that was pretty cool. The undying, resilient spirit of Eritreans until
Absolutely.
then.
I had to. That was the pretty much the icing on the cake on that end. Coming up with Pia saying "game over." I mean, we've seen it, we heard it, we've dealt with it. It's over. So we just gotta keep moving forward, and it's about nation building from here on out. So nothing else.
All right, I got another heavy question here for you. So, like we've talked about a lot already, music we've seen for our parents and the older generation was how they were politicized, mobilized to fight for independence. It just was like an acting agent that brought about that proud spirit that made people want to get up and join and be about change. Do you think that this same reaction is present amongst the new generation or us like youngsters nowadays?
Um, I want to say yes and no, because that the awareness, the telling our own story has to be really at a higher level right now because of the situation that we're in with this demonic neighbor that we have, you know, TPLF. They've been trying to really take away our story and flip it to make it look like it's theirs, take away our art, take away pretty much even our music, our lyrics. So we really got to be at a higher level alert and getting things out. We have to, you know, start some, you know, a movement that's just on a bigger, higher level than no more. So it's contents, a lot of contents has to be out there. People got to be, you know, mobilized, we have to organize and really be vigilant on correcting, you know, people that are out there trying to, you know, change the narrative of of our identity, of our story. They're trying to create something that's just way out there for us. So I mean, it's a good thing when people are trying to be you. You know, they're trying to be us. It's like a mirror image. It's like, come on, you see it, I don't even know, sometimes it's mind-boggling how somebody can really like take your art and make it like it's theirs. Like, are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
And then tell you that you're lying. Like
Yeah.
it's like gaslighting to the max. It's
So
really
we
scary.
really, yeah, the youth really gotta really wake up to a point of no return. So we have to wake up and really be on it, be adamant about correcting these morons that are out there spreading these false lies and stealing art, stealing music, and so forth. So I'm not for that,
Yeah.
and so are we.
Mr. Layne Tadesse, next, what do you have anything planned? You working on anything new? I know you just came out with No More, but I don't know, future goals.
Yeah, I do have some projects that are in the work. I had to pause on some of the stuff to get this No More out, but I do have a few songs. Like the Ghetto Corner that was out was basically talking about American politics, where American people stand. And then there's another one that's coming out, a brand new one's called Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm talking about here, America.
Wow.
And I have one of the Marleys featured on there. So Alex
That's
Marley.
very exciting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
So
deal.
that's gonna be coming out pretty soon. I mean, there's like nine songs, like an LP that's coming out soon. So I'm excited about that. And there's another single that's coming out real soon. It's on an R&B vibe, on a total different line. You'll see. It's called Bittersweet. So that's coming out as well. So there's a lot of project coming out. So I'm excited. So anything in between, if I have to do, that's what I got to do. Like the No More, yeah, it's got to be on it. So like I was saying, the youth got to be on their P's and Q's. I mean, we got to be on it. We can't be sleeping right now. So we got to be on it.
Yes, sir. My final thing is, what is your message to the youth? I know we've kind of already talked about that, but what is it that you want to tell the youth? Is there a specific message you want to convey to everybody? And any words of encouragement to those who are struggling to embrace their Eritrean identity and really stand up for what is right?
All I gotta say is, I've been saying this many times. We have to understand. We have to take the initiative of like wanting to learn, wanting to know who we are, and especially the young youth right now. I mean, they're out there running around or whatever, but at the same time, it's good to have fun and you know, all that good stuff. But at the same time, you have to know your identity. You have to know who you are. You have to know your story. You have to know where you came from. You have to know how you got here. You know, ask questions, asking your whys. You know, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to Eritrea? You know, There's reasons behind that. And this is the reason why we have to tell our own story. We gotta, the youth gotta be out there and start learning, reading, and get the facts from, the horse's mouth, which is Eritrean. Don't try to read somebody else's article that's written from some journalist that's sitting somewhere in Timbuktu, and he has no idea what Eritrea is, what Eritrea is about. Yet he's spreading these, false, fabricated stories. Those are the youth. You gotta be critical thinkers. So that's all I have to say.
A writer in Timbuktu, I was gonna say, or the Martins who make their money while telling people to actively endanger Eritreans, like go to burn the embassy. Like, what do they have any knowledge about? People look to them for actual information on Eritrea. It's like, you're the problem. Like, that's neo-colonialism. You're selling yourself to the white man.
Yeah, you got to get out of that mentality.
Yeah.
You got to get out of that enslavement. Like, oh, I want to read this white man's article because he's white. You want to read his article. Get out of that mentality. Get out of that. Like, you got to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Get out of that. Please get out. Listen to your elders. Listen to the ones that write the story, the Eritrean artists, the Eritrean writers, authors. Like Tesfaye Garab, I just ordered one of his book. They're out there. There's information for you. So from your own people. So learn from your own people. That's all I have to say.
Yep. And I know that was all I had, but you mentioned the sweet voice of your baby girl in Awith Nahafash and how she's doing well in speaking and writing and reading in Tigrinya. Is she going to possibly make another debut anytime soon?
She may be, yeah. She may be. There's a little part that I'm gonna have her do. So yeah. And maybe her little brother as well. You never know.
Oh, that's so cute. Are they involved in music, I'm guessing, since they're
they love music.
Always around you?
Yeah. Yep. They love music. Yeah. So yep.
Sorry, I got another question for you. Do you play any instruments? And if so, which ones?
I play a little bit of piano and djembe, the African drum djembe, play that. And I'm picking up the acoustic guitar. So yeah.
Very cool.
Get down. Yeah.
Do you mind singing a little bit or playing anything for us before we head out, wrap it up?
Oh, okay. I can sing some a cappella for you guys. Let me see. What song do you prefer?
I don't know. You hit us with your favorite. Which one do you think the people need to hear right now?
We'll do For the Love. We say, especially for the situation that's going on right now. So it's like an African awareness type of song. African children rise up. You got to keep the children mind wind up. It's time to take control. You got to look up, stand tall. Self-reliance the way to go. As these are the words you must know. Looking for a better tomorrow, so they don't have to feel no more sorrow.
Okay, I have not listened to that one, but I definitely need to start cranking it.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's titled For the Love. For the Love. You can find that on Apple, iTunes, Spotify. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of Eritrean diaspora artists. During the 2010, from 2010 to 2018, 19, and then it started to dissolve. And right now, trying to bring it back again. Let them know there's support for them. They just need to be supported. They need to be, taken in and motivated by community. That's the only thing. I can say the community need to come to the, they got to rise to the occasion to supporting these young Eritrean American artists, whether it's in hip hop or R&B, it's art is art. You know, if you love the craft, if that's all that you want to do, you gotta get the support that that you need. You know?
Yeah. And I feel like especially them, they're, they obviously have a genuine concern and like care for their identity, because if they didn't, then that wouldn't be their whole like persona as like artists. And because their style of music, like Sandman, even your style of music, something like any diaspora kind of fusion, it's just different, and it's not different in a bad way. It's just like unique. So it's like, I don't know, like you said, they need support and like genuine, like, pat on their shoulder from the community, and, their community in their corner, because they're that's who their audience is their people. And I know like sometimes there's pushback maybe from the community because it's different, but.
I mean, when you think about the music industry, like here in America, it's not easy, especially of an artist coming from a different world, from Eritrea or whatever. It's not an easy path, even for Americans here. It's so much like competition. There's so many artists out there doing the same thing that you're doing, and numbers really speak. If you don't have the numbers, the music industry is not going to look at you, as far as like your followers on all the digital platform. Those are the most important thing. So that's when our community, our Eritreans, and within all the states and cities and whatnot, if everybody's come collectively support all these artists to get their numbers up, like getting the following on Spotify, putting in comments, that will generate some type of a buzz. So that person will get that motivation to even elevate to a higher level. Those are the things we need to take into consideration, letting the community know, hey, support the artists, follow them on Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever. Sometimes it's going to take time, because majority of us are not in tune with the technology. Everything is on your phone. You got iCloud, SoundCloud and stuff like that.
You got everything.
Spotify, iTunes. It's crazy. So it's an uphill battle, but it can be done. We just need support. That's all.
Yeah.
So they can be motivated.
Can't you hear us crying? We must wipe away this stain. I said, no more